Hi everyone. I was asked to do a real quick video on how to create radio buttons. So I'm going to go in, I'll click on my iPad, not going to worry about getting the large one. And I'm going to work with something called components. So the first thing I need to do is to create my two radio buttons. I'm going to create a button, come over here, set the size to 5 in terms of the border, and then under Edit, I'll duplicate that. Get my selection tool, just drag my button over, make sure they're still aligned. Now I just add a little bit of text. And I just need to do a little bit of alignment here. So I have yes, no, everything's spaced nicely. So I'll select yes, hold down the Shift key, select the button and no and the button. I could also do this by clicking and dragging over all of the objects. Then I'll click on component. I'm going to call this the yes, no component. Sorry, not very original. I'll go back, click on my screen, click on the component, and you're going to do a lot of clicking. You want to make sure that you have this green box around the component. And when you do that, you have something new over on the right-hand side called Component Master. And it's in what's called the default state. So I'm going to have 3 states. The default, no button selected. Click plus and a new state. I'm going to call that yes. Plus and a new state. I'm going to call this no. So I now have 3 states. Default, yes, and no. And I have to differentiate yes and no now. So when I'm in my yes state, I'll double click on that button and I'm going to fill it in. Let's do something fancy. I'm going to, well, I don't know about red. Okay, we're going to make it blue. If I do use a color rather than black, I want to copy this hex number. So I make sure for my no button that it's also blue. So I'll click off of that, click back around until I get my states back. I'm going to go to no. Double click on the no button, take its fill, paste in that hex number, and it's now blue. So I now have 3 states, default, yes, and no. Now I need to link these buttons to different states. So I'm in design. I'm going to go back to my default state and switch to prototype. Under prototype, I'll double click my yes button and just click on that little arrow to the right. You're not going to drag it, you just click on it. It'll be tap, transition, and the state will be to go to yes, which means that I'll go to the state where the button is blue. For the no button, not sure why it switched to auto animate. I'm going to go back to transition. The state is going to be to go to the no state. So when I test this, if I click on one of those buttons, it should turn blue. Now I have to go back to design. You're going to do a lot of switching back and forth between design and prototype. Make sure that my component is selected and go to the yes state. So here, if I click on the yes button and go to prototype, when I click on yes, it's as if I want to turn this button off. So my state, again, it stubbornly goes to auto animate. I'm not sure why. The state is going to be the default state, namely, no button is selected. When I click on no, it's going to go to the no state. So now if I'm in this state, if I test it, if I click there, I go back to default. If I click the no button, it switches over to the no state. So I now have to make the same changes for the no state. I'll go back to design, select my component, go to no, go back to prototype. Now when I click the no button, this is where I want to turn it off. So the state would be to default state. And I'm just going to leave it at auto animate. I don't know why it stubbornly goes to that. It's going to look the same. However, when I click the yes button, I want it to go to the yes state. So I'll go back to design, get my component up, go back to the default state, and click on preview. Click on yes, that button selects. Click on no, that button selects. Click on no again, it turns off. Click on yes, so my buttons are working. Now the really nice thing about components is once you built it once, you don't need to do it again. All you need to do is go up to edit and duplicate, and then drag that second copy down, edit, duplicate, drag the next one down. XD will help you with the spacing. Now when I click preview, I have 3 yes and no buttons. So I can blithely go and do my selections. I can turn buttons off. And we're all set to go on radio buttons.